Hi, in today's video I want to talk about handlebar tape and about the procedure how to wrap handlebar tape. So as you know, there are lots of videos out there and you can see a lot of different styles in how to wrap a handlebar in a proper way. What I did, I basically present you an analysis, a step-by-step analysis about the whole procedure, about the complete process. So we will walk through it step by step, each process step, and we will have a look at the different variants of one single step. And in the end, we will speak about all the possible combinations. We will reduce these combinations and we will end up, of course, with recommendations. And we'll show, of course, these recommendations in the end. So the overall target really is, I want you to understand the logic of it all so that you can lead the process if you want to refresh your handlebar tape. And I don't want you just to follow a video, I want you to really lead the process. And to support that, you can have a download as well, an attachment. It's a kind of a one-page you can print out, you can hang it in your workshop, and you can take this as some kind of orientation. So in the end, it's not necessary to watch all the videos again and again. In the end, you know, this one-pager should be the master guideline for you to understand what you do and what you might do and what is the best solution for your case. So is there a golden rule? What is the best way to perform something like that? I would say no, there's no golden rule, but there are some hard recommendations. So in the end, you will see we end with 4 different cases, and these 4 different cases are really kind of recommendation. In the end, it all depends on a lot of parameters. So it's first, of course, the geometry of your handlebar self, the geometry of the lever, because the lever section, that's the most delicate section, and you have to cross the lever. Depends on the width of the lever. Is it a hydraulic one? Is it just a small one? It depends on the style of tape, of course. What tape are you using? Is it an elastic one? It depends on the width of the tape, the thickness of the tape, of course. And of course, you have to decide if you want to use a tape with an adhesive or with a silicone stripe. So what I did, because I had to go back and forth in my gymnastics, I used a tape with a silicone stripe, so that's not an adhesive. And if we talk about sustainability, of course, you know, it's a good advice to use a tape like this. You can reuse it basically, and you can go back and forth. If you don't like what you did, you can reinstall it. And you know, I was really surprised how good this silicone stripe worked. It's really a good way to take a tape like that. Okay, so now let's jump into the topic. And as I explained, I divided the whole process into different steps. As you can see right here, these are the yellow steps. And now we will go into each step and find out what is the best way. So you see the step. We start with the general wrapping direction, of course. And then on top you see the different possibilities you can use. So let's jump into the first section. So this is the general direction of the tape. So basically we can start, if we take a drop bar, we can start at the bottom and go upwards. So we can have a down top orientation, or of course we can have a top down orientation. And if we look at that, we can see if we start from top and go to the bottom, so the top down orientation, you get a picture like this, as you can see right here in the video. So the tape will overlap like this, and if you put some load on your handlebar during riding, you might run into trouble because it kind of peels off, because the overlapping of the single reps is not really ideal. And if we compare the other direction, so if we start at the bottom and go upwards, it will end up like this, as you can see, like here. And if you put, let's say, put natural load on your handlebar, it will not peel off. And I would really recommend to start at the bottom and go then to the top of the handlebar. So that means if we talk about general direction, the best direction is to start down and go to the top. So the next step then is the rotation sense of the lower section, rotation sense down section. Of course, we can start outwards or we can start inwards, and let's have a look at that section. We first start with the outwards section, and as you can see right here, we have some kind of natural hand movement. That means the natural hand movement will go outside. You will rotate outside, but if you put load on the handlebar, that means if you start the wrapping process in a way that you wrap inside out, outside, this follows, of course, the natural movement of your hands during riding, as you can see right here. And that means the tape will not get loose. You will tighten the tape because that's a natural movement. So if we start the other way around, would be like this. If we start inside, of course, that's not the natural movement of your hand. If you put load on the handlebar, as I said previously, you will rotate outside, and you can see it right here. That doesn't fit with the natural rotation. So I would say it's better to go out, inside out, to follow the natural movement of your hand. But to be honest, you can do it both ways, to be honest, because it's better to go outside. If you go inside and you use a modern tape that really fits perfectly and it sticks perfectly to the handlebar, I'm quite sure you will not run into trouble with that anyhow. All right, so the next step then is the rotation sense on the top section, as you can see here. And of course, you can go inward and outwards. Let's have a look at this, what happens there. So, of course, there we have a natural movement of your hand as well. This will go out inside. So if you go in the climbs and you will put load on your handlebar, I would really recommend to go inside with the rotation, because that follows natural load, and that means that you will not lose your handlebar. So if you're a pro and you will change your handlebar tape every day, of course it doesn't make sense. You can go outside as well, because you will refresh it every day. But if you want to ride a long time with the same handlebar tape, you should follow this natural rotation. Otherwise, I'm quite sure it will get loose, because I had several cases like that in the past as well. All right, so this is rotation sense on the top section, and now we are jumping into the next step. This is the first lever crossing. So I'm telling you first lever crossing. That means, of course, you can cross the lever border, and that's the most delicate part of the whole process. You can cross the lever once, but of course you can cross it a second time. But if you do so and you jump to the other side again, of course you have to re-jump to the other side. That means we have different combinations are possible, but in general, it's possible to cross the lever only once, or if you want to recross it, you have to go back. So that means you have to cross it once or 3 times. That's, of course, what is possible. And if you do so, I will now explain what does it mean, the wrap and the hooks. There are 2 basic, I stripped it down to these 2 basic figures. And let's have a look at this. So if we start inside wrapping on the lower section, this is like here, and then you reach the area near the lever. Of course, now you have to get from the one side of the lever to the other side, and you can do it like this, and I call this the hook. You can go directly from this side up and then to the other side. This is like a hook, like a U. You hook your tape around the lever, and what you see right here is you change, of course, then sense of rotation. So we started going, what is it? We started going inside, and we end up with a rotation logic that goes outside. Let's have a look again. So I start from the section here, and then I go upstairs, and what we see right here, that was the second technique. That was not a hook. This is what I call a wrap. So these are the basic two figures you can perform. You can have a hook or you can have a wrap, and if you use a wrap, of course, you will not change the sense of direction. Let's have a look on that one more time. To make it just really easy, this is a single wrap. So what does it mean? We get from the one side of the lever to the other side of the lever. That means we cross the border and we keep the sense of rotation on the one hand, and on the other hand we can use the hook. That means we jump from the one side of the lever to the other side of the lever as well, but we change rotation. Okay, that's it. So now I will show you the other way around. So this is now the situation where we start with a different rotation. So it's the outwards rotation, as you can see right here. And as soon as I reach the lever area, I have to decide, what do I do? Is it a hook or a wrap? First of all, I show a wrap. This is a single wrap. And then at the other hand, one more time, I'll repeat it right here to make it clear, it's a single wrap. Or what you can do as well, you can jump from the one side to the other side by using a hook. And here as well, I'm changing the sense of rotation, of course. One more time, that's the hook. And to make it really clear as a principle, I will show it here. This is a hook, like a U, and this is a wrap. And this is basically it. There's no other chance to cross the lever section. We only have a hook or a wrap. And as I explained, of course, you can re-wrap or you can re-hook one more time. So you can have a second lever crossing from top to down, and if you do so, of course, you need a third lever crossing. And we will talk about all the possible combinations later on. And then, of course, you have to decide if you want to use an additional stripe, yes or no. I will show them later on when we talk about all the possible combinations. All right, let's go into the start technique and end technique discussion. This is just to give you a complete picture of the whole process. Of course, somehow you have to start and somehow you have to end, and I will show you two different techniques at the start of your wrapping process. That's the overlap. It's a well-known process step. And then it's the perpendicular cut. The perpendicular cut that's well known from the end of the handlebar, but you may use it in the beginning as well. Let's have a look. So here's the beginning of the handlebar. So I start the wrapping process. This time it's going outwards. You can do it the other way around as well. Doesn't matter. And then you just start a little bit earlier so that you can put all the tape inside the handlebar, and then you install these plug, and then you have a really nice and clean starting of your wrapping process. So There may be some cases where this technique is not possible because maybe you have a tool inside your handlebar, or you have a STI box, a junction box you have to install first, or a mirror or whatever. Then you need a different technique, and that's exactly the same technique we use for the end of the handlebar wrapping process. The end technique, that's the perpendicular cut. I will show this process as well. So you just start with your wrapping process. You have to unwrap it anyhow. You just start somewhere, and then you take, as I took a metal ruler. You can take a sharp tool, you can even take a cutter, and what I do right now, in a perpendicular way, I give it a marking, and after that I take a pair of scissors, and I give you good advice, take a sharp pair of scissors, and then you can take this line of your metal ruler, you marked it, and you can just cut it, and then really cut it in once. Don't start to cut and recut something like that. Take a nice sharp pair of scissors, a clean one, give it one nice cut, and in the beginning you can cut off the beginning section, because it will end up in a way you can't use that. You can cut it anyhow. So I left it over right here, and if you do so and cut it and give it a clean nice cut, you can apply it on your handlebar. You can bring it on your handlebar, and as you see right here, you will have a really nice start of the wrapping process itself. It's a clean start, and so it's possible in that way. It's possible to have a STI box or whatever. If this place is covered, you have to start like this, no problem. All right, so we spoke about the start technique, and of course now we can speak about the end technique as well. So this video basically is taking care about all the wrapping processes, but as I said, just to give you a complete picture, I will show the end process as well. So you can use a ruler here as well, and you can take this stem point as an orientation point. So I can mark it here, and I can take the same the same distance at the other side as well, so I will get a really nice picture. And then again, after you mark this, you can take this ruler or something like that, or a cutter, and you can mark it, and then it's the same technique. You just unwrap it, take a pair of scissors, as I already said, take a sharp pair of scissors, and give it really a nice cut. And if you do so, cut the beginning where it's really, you know, kind of can't use that part of the tape and then wrap it around. And then there are basically two different ways of finishing this. You can take what I did right here. You can take this kind of electrician tape. The advantage of that tape, it's elastic. You can give it a nice ending. And the other way would be to take a different tape. You can take a fabric tape that's a little bit more robust. I do not like this electrician tape very much. I take this robust tape. The disadvantage of a robust fabric tape, of course, is it's not that elastic. You can cover the edge with this electrician tape. You can cover the edge. With the fabric tape, that's not possible. You basically bring it right to the edge. And if you then have a situation where you don't like it because you can see then this red tape at the side, you can even paint it before. There are different videos in the net. You can take these videos. They show all the different techniques. But basically this is it. Give it a perpendicular cut. Give it a nice and wrap. And to be honest, I never use these special tapes they provide within a package of handlebar tape, because in most cases they're not really elastic, and they're really wide, and then they have a special print, and it's just too much, I think. Take electrician tape, take a good one, or just take these fabric tape, and that's it. All right, now we are through with all the general steps you can perform. And what we do right now is we jump into a big comparison. So you see I have the wrap and the hook that are basic figures. I will provide these basic figures later on here on my one-pager as a screenshot, so you can orientate. But right now, what I did, we walked through all these different steps, and we spoke about all the different variants. So if we now would look at all the combinations, I will do it right here, we get a really big table. Why is it like that? It's because, well, we have now 10 different crossing, 10 different ways of crossing combinations. We have 2 different orientations right here, down top, top down. We have in out at the lower section. We have in out at the top section, and of course there's a dependency, because if you have to decide how you start, and you have to decide the combination of crossings. And then, of course, if you have something like wrap, it doesn't change rotation. If you have a hook inside, of course, then it will change rotation, will get from in to out. And if you have a double hook, it will not change rotation, and so on. But in the end, so if we talk about all the possible combinations, you end up with 40 different combinations. And if we would take these additional stripe, we will see it later on as a combination as well, we would have 80 different combinations. And if we would take this as a parameter as well, overlap or perpendicular cut, we would have 160 different combinations. So that's the magic behind it. And what we do right now is we of course strip it down and reduce it to these combinations that make sense. And in the end, we end up, of course, with our recommendations. So talking about general direction, I would really say it doesn't make any sense to go from top to down, because you will peel your bar tape off. So that means we focus on down to top only. And if I walk through these combinations, we will only have down to top combinations. The next topic would be like the rotation sense at the top section. As I said, I would really hardly recommend to follow the natural way of movement. That means the in rotation, and I would not go out end up with outside rotation, because you will unwrap your tape during riding. So we take an inside rotation, and as you see right now, what we have right here, it's something like 10 different variants left over, and we can reduce these variants a little bit more, because what we do have right here as well, we have some kind of double hooks. And the double hooks, basically, that's if you perform a double hook, it's like an ear you wrap around your lever, and I wouldn't say that really makes sense. So in the end, if we reduce these 10 different variants to those who make sense, you basically end up with 4 different combinations, because these 4 different combinations, they have the advantage that they really have a clean look. at the one side, and you cover as much as possible of these delicate lever section. Okay, what we do right now, we walk through all these four recommendation versions, and you can follow this process step by step. Okay, so let's start with the wrap combination. That's the next step. So we start down top, of course, what we always do, because we want to end up inwards, and we have a triple wrap. We will start inwards, and you will see if you do so, if we perform a wrap, we do not need an additional stripe, because we cross this border 3 times. That means everything should then be covered without an additional stripe. So we look at this. So we start inwards, and then now we perform the first wrap like this. So we jump from one side to the other side, and now we do the second wrap. We go back to the other side of the lever. We put it right here. And of course, now we're on the wrong side. We have to perform the third wrap, and that's where we are. And as you can see right here, it gives you a clean look, a nice coverage of the whole area. If we roll back the hoods, we have a perfect situation right here. Okay, that's basically it. Okay, so next video then I will jump to the next slide, and we will move forward, and what we can present right now is down top, as always, rotation side inwards. We will end up inwards, and we want to start inwards, and that means the possible combination is a wrap no. So that's a single wrap, and because if we only perform a single wrap, it's really hard, it's impossible to cover everything. So what we then need is this additional stripe. Let's have a look. So we start inwards, and we reach the lever area, and then we jump from the one side to the other side right here with a single wrap. And as you can see right here, it's really hard to cover this area of the lever clamp, and at the other side it looks similar. That's the reason why we then have to use this additional stripe. So the additional stripe now is applied right here. I will put it in, and then we start our single wrap. Let's finish the single wrap, and as you can see, you have to make sure that this additional stripe here is not covering one of these little lugs you have right there. Everything has to be in place there. So that means we have to cut this additional stripe here. That's a simple procedure. Just take your scissors, pair of scissors, and cut it off, and then you can roll back the hood. And if you ask me, this gives you a super clean picture. At the other side, it looks exactly like that. It's a really clean finish of this wrapping procedure. So that was inside wrap no with a stripe. And now we jump to the next version. I go one further. That's a version where we start down top. We start outside, but if we start outside and want to end up inside, of course, then we need a hook, because otherwise it's not possible to change the sense of rotation. So that means the first lever crossing is a hook. And what we want to do then is a wrap. So we go back, we cross the lever border once again, and then we have to go back one more time, and we have the second wrap. And because we are performing 3 lever passages, we do not need an additional stripe, and this is possible. We can see it right here. So we start outside, and as you remember, that's the natural movement of your hand, so that's the better way to start in general. We have a hook, and after the hook I jump from one side to the other side of the lever, and then I go back with a wrap. I wrap it. Now we are on the other side again. It's a wrap, 360 degrees wrap. And because I want to end on the top, I have to spend one more wrap. That's what we do right here. And here as well, we have a super clean area. You do not need this additional stripe. And if we roll back the hoods, as you can see in a minute, in a second, it looks really, really clean as well. All right, so I told you I have 4 recommendations. So the last recommendation, let's go one step further. Again, down top, we want to end inside. We will start outside. That means we need a hook. Otherwise, we can't change sense of direction. And what we do, we will perform as a first lever crossing a hook, then we will not have a second, we will not have a third lever crossing, and because we only use a hook, we need the additional stripe. Let's have a look at this. And as you can see, I'm reaching this lower area, below area of the lever. Now there's my hook. First I will do it without a strap, so you can see we will have a gap there. So somehow we have to close that gap. And there I use this additional stripe. This actually is with an adhesive, that's better. Make sure that you cover the complete additional stripe in a nice smooth way. And then we can, of course, perform our hook, and this is going to be a really, really nice wrap. And here we have the same advice, of course. If your additional stripe is too long, just cut it off. That's the easy procedure. And then if you roll back, what we do right here, we have a super, super, super clean picture. To be honest, we have a lot of advantages with this technique. Down top, we have downwards, we have an outside, the natural rotation. On the upper section, we have an inside rotation, that's natural as well. It follows your natural load orientation. We just cross it once, so it's not really thick, it's nice and smooth. We need an additional stripe for sure, but we will have a nice picture right here because it's all going in the same direction. So this is really a nice technique. And talking a little bit about this additional stripe, what all these handlebar tape suppliers do, they just cut off one of these a little piece of their stripe, and this is often used as an extra stripe to cover that area if you do not want to recross the section. And I saw one example where they used, I think it was Silka company, and they provided a special piece called butterfly piece for that section. And this is really a good idea because this butterfly piece has the advantage that it has a special design. It's wider, it covers more, and you can use it to cover that section in a nice and easy way. So the disadvantages for the supplier, of course, is you need a special tool for that. It's not just a piece of your tape. You have to produce a separate piece. It makes it much more expensive, of course, but in the end, that's the best way to cover this clamping area. All right, so now we are through with all 4 different recommendations. Of course, what you can do whatever you want. You can at least you can use all of these 40 combinations, but I'm quite sure you will find out some of these combinations are not really nice. But now you know what is a hook, you know what is a wrap, and you can make whatever you want. But I would really recommend one of these 4 different combinations. Okay, if we have a look at this right now, I give you some kind of a summary. So what we have right here, these are our 4 principal recommendations. And what we can do here is we can have a short comparison to different variants I found in at YouTube. So I'll just modify the table a little bit. Give me a second. And I can reduce this. And we can go into this view. And what we can do, we can focus on the, let's call it tutorial market. So what we all find in YouTube, and we can compare these different variants with my recommendations. So what you see, there are different tutorials, and they are not all matching with my recommendations. So the good story is they all start at the bottom and end up at the top side of the handlebar, so the general direction, that's all down top. I think that's a good news. And then we have quite a few, they end with a rotation inwards, so that's not the natural movement of your hand, and I would really not, sorry, the other way around, they move outwards, they end up outwards. And this is a little bit strange because I really would not recommend to end up with the outwards rotation, because that's again it's not the natural move, and you will unwrap your tape during riding. Okay, so if we delete those outward rotation ones and we stick to the inward rotation one, there's only one example that's not in line with my recommendation, and that's really, let's have a look at this. It ends inwards, it's a wrap, hook, wrap, and without an additional stripe you can do that. Try it out, it's one of these combinations that's possible. The good story here as well is you end up inwards. That's what I would hardly recommend. But in the end, the most popular, the most common ones are exactly these 4 different types. And it's easy to remember. It's just a wrap, wrap, wrap. Or is a wrap, no, no. It's just a single wrap with an additional stripe. Or is a hook, wrap, wrap without an additional stripe. Or it is just a single hook with an additional stripe. Okay, this is basically it. I will present once again this complete list, and this is exactly the sheet I will give you as an attachment, and you can take this one pager as a guideline. You can see all the different steps, you can see the examples, what is a wrap, what is a hook, and I'm quite sure if you take this as a guideline and hang it in your workshop, you can print it out, hang it in your workshop, you can really repeat the whole process in an easy way, and you will have some really nice handlebar wrapping pictures in the end. Okay, that's it basically. I'm at the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Have fun with it. If you want to give me a comment, it's highly appreciated. Have fun and go cycling. Thanks very much.